The batteries and vacuums.
No, let's hear it.
Everybody is a battery or a vacuum.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You're
Draining me
you're a
dry or
battery.
you're charging me up.
Wow, you took my punchline, Cory.
How was you going to say it? Like,
I was gonna
just
say-
it exactly the way you was going to say it. It couldn't have been like exactly the way I said it. What if it's not about a building? What if it's not about stained glass or steeples? What if it's about just Jesus?
I think the moment we all kind of worry about is Judgment Day. Do we pass the test? What's that look like? And, that's the big picture. But on a day-to-day, we judge everybody. Everyone judges us, whether we know it or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't think about it. I don't worry so much about Judgment Day anymore. I'm good. I don't worry about that. But I worry about the daily judgment that I may endure constantly because I know I feel judged by everybody you encounter. Because I think that's just kind of how life is now, sadly.
Yeah, I think we just do that by default, like immediately. I mean, how long does it take to say whether you like somebody or not?
Oh, I know instantly. As soon as you see him, yeah, I'm not going to like them. I think I did that with you.
Oh my God.
I think you had some help from others, though.
No, I didn't. And that's the thing. Just what I knew of you at that moment, I'm not going to like him.
It's the hair, right?
I don't think it was, man.
It might be the Just Jesus sweatshirt or the, who knows?
Yeah, maybe it was to do with me saying, hey, man, let's talk about Jesus.
Right, yeah. No, that was,
He said, we're not going down that road.
That's awesome.
It's funny, man. You just never know when judgment's there, and judgment's always there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's normal human behavior. We can't help it. It's innate. It's just in us. Is that all associated to the garden as well, or where does that start, and how do we even stop it? Is it possible?
That's hard because I feel like women are some of the worst. I mean, it's constant. And I think these things, I'm doing my best to think that's not right. Don't verbalize.
Yeah.
Don't verbalize.
Yeah, don't verbalize. But I'm still thinking it. Is that wrong?
No. I mean, I've heard many people say you can let a bird fly over your head, but you don't have to let it build a nest. Which means what thoughts come into your mind, you don't have to act on them,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't stop them from coming into your mind.
Oh.
It's what you do with them when they come in.
That's why I say don't verbalize.
And from the beginning in the garden, like you said, is that from the beginning, the thing is that we weren't able, like man was not able to see the evil in the garden until she ate of that forbidden fruit. And it opened their eyes not only to what was good, but then what was evil. Because if you remember, they were naked, but they didn't know they were naked.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know there was anything wrong with being naked. But then when their eyes were open and they took of the fruit, they saw their nakedness and knew that it was bad. And God came walking into the garden, came into the garden. Adam heard him and knew that he was naked and ran and hid. I guess it's like the show Naked and Afraid.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, so many shows and stuff, they get so much content from the Bible.
So hold on, you're saying Naked and Afraid. You think that's all from the same thing?
I mean, I think it's the idea. I think it's the the building of that, like,
Back to basics.
Yeah.
Beginning.
yeah,
How insecure and how vulnerable are we when we are naked?
exactly right. But we never knew that in the garden until our eyes were opened. Now we see all of these flaws and all of these things that we don't like. Even when we look in the mirror at our own selves, I mean, we're looking at these, supermodel shows and the standards of Hollywood to get our self-worth. And, if we don't look like them, if we don't look like that, then that's our judgment. That's what we're judging. And then we judge other people, if they're not looking, like something from Hollywood, then here we go. I mean, how many of us love to just sit in the mall or sit outside and just people watch?
We talk about that all the time. We go on vacation. Lane and I, my husband, we'll just sit. I love to go to Disney and sit and people watch.
Yeah.
Right.
How do we love that?
It's terrible. I know. But I don't know. I feel like I don't do it to be malicious. It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's not like you're judging every person in a derogatory way, which we do. We shouldn't. But there's also some people that walk by and you're like, oh, wow, they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talk about just the way things are now. Look at American Idol. I can't sing a lick. I can't clap to a beat. Matter of fact, Terry, my wife, the last time we had a service, or a couple services ago, she told me to quit clapping. I'm messing everybody else up.
Well, you brought judgment on yourself immediately for that.
But you put me watching American Idol. Oh man, they can't. What are they doing? They're awful. They need to get off that stage. They can't do anything. They can't even. That's awful. But I'm immediately judging because that's what we're supposed to do. That's where we're at as a society is judge everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think we judge harsher sometimes if we're insecure about something in ourselves?
Oh, I think it all comes from that place.
Yeah.
Everybody that talks about somebody in a derogatory way puts them down in some way. It's not positive. I think that comes from insecurities within us. Everybody wants everybody to look the way you look, to look the way I look. I want to hang out with people that are like-minded. I want to hang out with people that are on the same wavelength. But at the same time, if we're not careful, we want people to actually act like we act, dress like we act, talk like we talk. And if they don't, then
like birds of a feather.
Yeah.
Then I want to hang out with some famous people. I want to hang out with some super hotties.
Yeah. Well, they say, show me your closest friends and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
And I think there's some stuff behind that. If you want to be rich and famous, you want to have a successful business, hang out with successful business people.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And what I'm saying is,
or if you want to meet Jesus, if you want to get better in your Christian world and your Christian walk, follow someone like Cory.
Yeah, I didn't know where you was going with that. If you was
I
ready,
didn't wrap it all up. Yeah, I was working on it.
I want to meet Jesus, but not right now.
I just want.
I'm not ready to leave.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. That judgment's coming.
Oh man, well that's what we're working for.
But is judging people or judging things bad? Should we try to not judge at all? Or is that just part of our human walk because of everything that happened in the garden?
I think we are naturally from way back when. I think it's like I said, I think it's like a default. Like, not only judgment, I think it's a natural for people just to be negative. And with that negativity comes negative judgment. And I believe that it really takes work and training and exercising your mindset and your thought process to be positive, to stay positive, no matter what, to never put anybody down, to never put someone down because of the way they look. the way they act, the way they smell, where they come from. I mean, if you come across in a negative way to somebody, anybody, people feel that. They feel that negative energy. They feel that they're not accepted.
And that's not Christ-like. That's not becoming Christ.
It's not. Every time you come into the presence of somebody else, it's like you got one shot, one opportunity. Like you've heard people say, your first impression.
Mm-hmm.
The first impression is what matters. Like Stephen said, like in a few seconds, I don't really like them. I mean,
sometimes you don't even get that impression, just the first look.
and like if we don't try to watch and be cautious, you will not like somebody right out of your life without giving them an opportunity at all to see how they really are, to see, how their personality is, how you click. And, if we don't watch, it's like, bam, we'll judge them and I'm never going to like them. Some of the people that I've said that about the most, it's happened many times that will be one of the closest people to my life. Mm-hmm. I would think that was the way it would be with Stephen and me.
100%.
He went
well, Cory.
he went from wanting to fight me to... I would consider us to
I wanted to fight you. I just didn't want to hang out with you. I'd rather
you were
anywhere else but there.
I thought you were going to if I said Jesus again.
Oh, but judgment is natural. But not only is it natural, but it's also a part of the Bible. And we have to be able to judge people to find out if they've fallen, if they need help. And we can't do that without judging them, right?
That's a great way to look at it, though. Like, are we looking at their situation, their circumstances? Like, it should be to the point of, how can I help? But in order to help, how can I help without letting you know that the way you are is not good enough? Whoever I'm dealing with.
And you said it right there. You're not good enough. Anytime you think that, you need to back up and pump because you're already going down the wrong path.
Yeah, like if I come in and I say, Stephen, man, I got to help you, dude. You're way off here. You're way off there. Or you come to me like that, or Savannah. It's not like that. Like you should breeze into somebody's life like a nice, fresh wind and just be a help to them in any way. Be a strength to them. Have an encouraging word every time you see them. Have a smile on your face every time you see them.
That's hard sometimes.
I'm a hugger. Like,
mm-hmm.
I love to hug people. Like,
I think I told you whenever on this podcast before, but whenever we first met, I said, man, grown men just shake hands, Cory.
Oh, I think the first time I tried to hug Steven, I think he like grabbed my hand and started to shake my hand. And at the same time, he used like the thing I used in basketball, like the forearm where it's like a shield. You like kind of push off. And it's like he's saying, hey, man, how you doing? It's good to see you, man.
Like
good
a little
to see
elbow.
You. And it's like
throwing bows over here.
And,
it was nice bows.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, though, it's like, hey, man, how you doing? Yeah.
Now go in for the hug. Sometimes before you can even go in for the hug.
Sometimes it's just easier to avoid it, just to go in.
Don't say it that way.
You dislike the most, just go do them. Just
no, man, don't say it that way.
Don't let him fool you. He loves it.
Well, hold on. I do think
just say you've been converted to a hugger.
Well,
I'm
a hugger. I don't go around hugging people, but I know Cory's a hugger, and I'm good with hugging Cory when he wants a hug, you know?
But everybody knows Cory's a hugger. My daughters don't really like to hug at all, but they let Cory hug him.
I was dying laughing the other
Every
day.
time.
Whenever Cory was here with your girls, I think it was Olivia, and they're twins, so that's the reason I got a little confused. But she was like, you could see her wheels spinning like, is he going to hug me? He's going to want to hug me. I know he's going to want to hug me.
She just accepted the hug and went
You
on.
don't know. You don't know if she was thinking that.
She was thinking that.
But she does. They both hug him, let him hug him. Well, because they don't participate. Normally it's the. But Ella's getting better. She comes around.
Yeah, man. They're
But
sweet.
That's you knocking down walls, man. That's part of it.
I love it because they need that so much.
I think that so many people in their lives, from a child, an adult, it doesn't matter. So many things in some form or fashion through judgment, through getting fiery darts of judgment thrown at you from people, you build up this wall. You build up these barriers. You build up so many things that you don't even realize. And before you know it, you don't even want to come near people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even want to embrace people. And it's like, where does that come from? Does that come from, is that a natural thing? Is that like, if somebody says, I'm not a hugger, why?
Yeah.
Like, did you not get hugged? Did you not get affection as a child?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's fine if you didn't, but it doesn't have to stay that way, you know?
I know for me personally, it's not that. It's just
We got
we're-
hugs and all
yeah,
the.
we're grown men. I mean, we just shake hands, you know. But that was me judging you, thinking
Yeah.
grown men don't give hugs, Cory. We shake hands.
I can picture this conversation going
I'm
on.
already getting judged.
I know. He's
Right.
getting judged. Yeah.
But that's judgment. And I had it immediately because that's what we do, man.
Well, and especially I think right now with all of our kids kind of being at the age that they are, I think it's so important that, this is something we kind of tackle now and get clear to them, because I feel like all the age they're in that awkward, weird stage where really things are, they're being judged or they're judging, and the embarrassment. I think it's so important for us to make sure that they know that's not okay.
Yeah.
To judge people harshly or, illy.
It's never okay. That's why you have all these cliques in churches. That's why you have all these cliques. And that's the worst thing for a church is cliques.
Mm-hmm.
Cliques and politics. Something
The
where
icks.
yeah, where you're, wasn't that a horror movie?
The icks.
Oh, I thought you said the it's.
No, that's it. I said the icks because you said politics, clicks. It's the icks.
Ooh, that one just didn't land, did it?
No, I'm having to go in there and explain that one. I thought it was good.
Like a good dad joke over there.
Yes.
The icks.
Yeah, let's take that out.
No, we're leaving it.
It was a good one. It's not my fault y'all didn't get it.
It was my fault. Anyways, yeah, I'm
feeling
just
judged.
yes. And you're always looking like for these ways to judge, and churches do that more, I think, than a regular person that doesn't go to church.
I don't know that they do it more. I think they do it equally. But if you get, the three of us together and we have the same values, the same beliefs, and we get together and judge somebody that's different than us, we can do some serious judging because we all agree. There's nobody that disagrees with us.
The judgment is more powerful in numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, God and his movement, Jesus, the Spirit, is more powerful in numbers.
That's right.
But that's why it's so important that we need to be together and we need to have peace among us,
Mm-hmm.
that any person, any background, any dress, any way they look should be able to come in
Mm-hmm.
and to be part of it.
Absolutely.
And all of our judgments, we are so quick to judge somebody because we don't feel like that they're walking to the standard. I mean, most religious people would say, well, God, you clean them up first, and then we'll take them. We'll pull them in, man. We'll really love them. That's not the way it is.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be that we take them in, dirty, broken, undone, addicted, from the streets, whatever. And then the word, God, then they get cleaned up. But we love them in.
Mhm.
That's the way it is. And instead of judging them out.
Yeah. I think just trying to keep that in the back of your mind all the time. So just constantly reminding yourself, don't judge, don't verbalize. But it's still, like you said, those thoughts come into your mind sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. We're not supposed to. Like, you have the power to do that. You can make that decision
Mhm.
to decide if what you're saying about a person, what makes it right. Like, what makes it right? Because you said it?
Well, and I've mentioned it a few times, the bracelets. What would Jesus do? Did Jesus have judgment?
Yeah.
I would think he did. Did he just not voice it? Is that not a thing? Or and we don't know if Jesus had judgment unless what I'm reading just doesn't clarify it, because I can't tell anywhere where it said Jesus judged somebody.
Well, this is the thing. Jesus came into the world as a controversial thing anyways, because the world was covered in darkness, and he comes in as this glorifying light.
He was the opposite of judging. He was the one judged.
Yes, but this is the thing. He came in so grand and so glorious and so radiant that he was the judgment. Like,
Wait,
even
hold on. What do you mean he was the
I
judgment?
know.
Okay, so when you see somebody, if you've ever seen somebody that's so good, that's so positive,
Oh, yeah.
that's so radiant, like so beautiful, and I'm not talking about like physicality so much, I'm talking about inwardly.
The fruits.
Yeah, the fruits. They're so wonderful. You got these people that come into your life, and they come in. It doesn't matter when they come in. It doesn't matter how often they come in. When they come into your life, it's like a fresh air just blew into your life. And then they come in, they bless you, they lift you up, and then they go their way.
I know somebody like that.
Well,
I've only very few people I've ever met my entire life, but there's this one lady that I know. Her name is Nancy.
yeah.
And she's like that with everyone. I mean, she is amazing. And when you leave her presence, you feel so good. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we
Have
should
you ever
hang out
heard-
with Nancy.
Have
She's
you ever
amazing.
heard the batteries and vacuums?
No, let's hear it.
Everybody is a battery or a vacuum.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You're
Draining me
you're a
dry, or
battery.
you're charging me up.
Wow, you took my punchline, Cory.
Well, Nancy is one of the biggest batteries I've ever met.
How was you going to say it? Like,
I was gonna
just
say-
it exactly the way you was going to say it. It couldn't have been like exactly the way I said it.
You're either two people. You're the A, you're the battery. You charge people up. People feel energized when they leave your presence.
There you go.
Or B, you're the vacuum. You suck the life out of people and everything around you.
Do you know those people?
Oh, I know both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know more vacuums than batteries.
Right.
What if you get around a person and all they do, and I have been guilty. As a matter of fact, I'd like to say on record that everything that I say, everything that we talk about in these episodes, if it's negative in some way and we're hitting on it, I've probably been guilty of it. But all we can do is keep putting one foot in front of the other, trying to, put a smile, trying to train ourselves with the help of God and the grace of God to think positive. But how many people do you get around that all they talk about is somebody else in a derogatory way, in a negative way. Even if it's you, that there's things that God talks about, like gossip, like backbiting. Who in the world made us kings and queens to sit on some high platform and judge people? Like judge all the way down from the televised pastor. We're the worst ones because this man has hundreds of thousands of people that is coming into his congregation. We are the worst ones to throw our judgments and to say this or that about him or her in negative ways. Who made us the judges? Because I can read you in Jesus' own red letters. He said, "Judge not, that you will not be judged." Like, what is it? My dad used to say to me all the time, "Son, when you point a finger at somebody, always remember that there's 3 pointing back at you."
I know, everybody.
Did you do it?
Okay.
Savannah, as soon as I said it, she was like,
I had to think. I'm like, the thumb? No. Oh.
The thumb is neutral. It doesn't count.
and I mean it. If we worried more about putting our lives in motion to make the world a better place, to make everybody that came into our contact feel better when they left us, as opposed to looking for all the negative in everything that people do.
If we consciously become batteries,
Come on.
man, because vacuums are addicting. I mean, if you're around a vacuum, your battery depletes and you become a vacuum.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, if you're not conscious of it, because, man, they suck you in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean,
No
you
pun
might
intended.
you might say, "Cory, you don't know what I'm facing. You don't know what kind of weights I have on my life. You don't know what kind of hardships I'm going through." We're all going through hardships.
Mm-hmm.
We're all dealing with issues and problems. We're all facing mountains and giants. Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
I mean, we have to get into the place to where it doesn't matter what you're going through. You make it a point to be a charger. Is that what you said?
A battery.
I said a battery, but a battery needs a charger. So that's
Yes.
perfect. That's perfect.
So we are the batteries, correct?
That's right.
And Jesus is the charger?
There you go. Come on.
Wow. Look at Savannah bringing it home today.
I know.
That's
right.
That's why we read our Bibles. That's why we pray. That's why we go to church with other believers and faith-filled people and do everything that we can to get closer to God and the gospel and Jesus. That is how we are taking our lives as a battery and sticking it into the charger. That's the only way that we can get charged. You want to talk about getting positive?
Mm-hmm.
Find Jesus. Find
Plug in.
Jesus, and your life will become positive. I promise you. You want to talk about hanging out with millionaires. You want to talk about hanging out with smart people. You want to talk about hanging out with positive people. You want to talk about hanging out with just successful people. Try hanging out with Jesus.
That's a good one, Cory. Oh, man, I missed it. That's what I needed. How did I not have that one ready?
Yes.
That one should have been keyed up, ready to go.
Man, if I knew you was going to say it, right?
I thought you always had that keyed up and ready to go. Matter of fact, I thought you always had your finger just resting over it.
It will be soon. I dropped the ball on it. Hold on. Now it's ready. It's on the ready now.
Yes.
And that's the thing. We can't complain about not having, I don't read my Bible. It's right at your fingertips now.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. It's on your phone, it's on your iPad,
Yeah,
it's on your
you
computer.
can have it right there at any time to just look at. So, I mean, we don't have an excuse anymore.
Matter of
You know
fact,
your phone's in your hand all the time.
right, even when I'm driving, I can have it play and read to me. So
That's awesome.
you're never out of it, ever.
No.
It's always there with you.
I think that's awesome.
So here in Matthew 7:4, Jesus talking, he says, how can you think of saying to your friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye, when you can't see past the log in your own eye?
I've heard you say that. And that is a very powerful statement.
I think I say the lumber yard. I like to put a lumber yard in the place of the log, because so many times when we judge people, well, first of all, when you judge somebody, you automatically have to put yourself on a higher platform.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically have to look down on that person to give them some kind of judgment of their life. And many times we don't even realize that we have our own issues. We have our own insecurities. We have our own places where we fall short, and we are skimming right past them. And basically he's saying, you know, you're trying to put so much effort into removing a splinter from your brother's eye when you can't even see past the lumber yard in your own eye, or the log.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Have we kind of spun that as a culture, just to say, you know, throwing rocks at a glass house? Same thing, right?
Pot calling the kettle black.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. How many more we got?
Come
What
on.
we got?
I know, we got any more? I had to-
Man, it's there's such a thin line. Like you said, you have to be able to judge people. You have to be able to judge people, because Jesus said, like, this is the way you shall know that people are my disciples. By this one thing, Jesus said, all people shall know that you are my followers,
Mhm.
that you have good judgment about you. That's not what it says. That's what people would like to think it says.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, by this, all men shall know that you are my disciples. All people shall know that you are my disciples, that you have love one for the other.
Oh.
So you're shining and you're radiating love more than anything else. And the only time that you should judge somebody, you could clearly see if a person has the fruits about their life that is protruding from heaven, Jesus out of you, fruits of love, fruits of joy, fruits of peace, fruits of kindness, fruits of patience. These are the things that we can look at people that come into our life to see whether they are a battery or a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's only our jobs to help a person by serving a person. That's the way we help. You don't judge them and say something derogatory about them and you know, walk away. You become a servant, and to help them in those places that you see that they are weak. That's the real job of a Christian. Where do you have places? Where do you have gaps in your life that I could come in and be a help? You know? Like,
Right. And at the end of the day, the only judgment that matters is the ultimate judgment, right?
yeah.
So everything we're doing now, judging each other and worrying about someone judging us, it doesn't even matter as long as we're doing what we're supposed to do in the way that we're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what'd Tupac say? Only God can judge me?
Right. Even Tupac had it right.
I mean, that is so true. And if we could get to a place to where other people's judgments did not matter. You have a special calling in your life. We all do. We have a purpose that nobody else can do what you do. Nobody else can do it the way you do it. And there may be people that judge you left and right. They're throwing their rocks at the glass house. Pot calling the kettle black. But at the end of the day, are you trying to serve somebody, or are you trying to judge somebody? Are you trying to be a battery, or are you being a vacuum to somebody? Like in the garden, their eyes had to be open, and in opening their eyes, they seen the evil and the good. So you can judge the evil and you can judge the good. That's what we do. We judge the good and we judge the evil, except sometimes we get caught up in this trap and we become these repetitive creatures that stay in these habits of just judging, negativity. We have to turn that around. We have to stand up and make the change with the help of God. Ask God to help you to be a positive person. Don't go into somebody's life and just start calling out their flaws and calling out their imperfections. Move into their life like a sweet, gentle breeze and fall into their gaps like a servant and lift them up, that when you walk away, they're better than when you came in. Try with God's help not to judge negatively. Try to judge positively. Find the good in everything. Find the good in everything. Be blessed.